Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, today we just had a very, very big win. Obviously, the Mets needed this win in the worst way. The Mets tonight defeated the Nationals 2-1. Wasn't pretty. Was not pretty. In fact, most of the game, I'm doing my notes thinking we are going to lose. So I got a lot of commentary on this game. I got a lot of commentary for what we need to do in the future if we want to make the playoffs. First, I want to thank anybody watching live and on replay. I appreciate you. I really do. Please, if you could hit the like. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. This is the channel for passionate baseball fans, especially if you're a Mets fan. Okay, so before today's game, I put out a video saying what the Mets need to do to survive without Francisco Lindor. So I put out a list today. So if you wanted to check out that video, you could check it out. I put it out earlier today. Now, today's game, I was watching, I was taking my notes, and I was putting my head in my hand saying, oh my God. Obviously, Mania was a gem. Perfect Mania. But our lineup. And this guy, Irvin, when he pitches against us, he's Pedro Martinez. He's Cy Young. He is phenomenal against the New York Mets. For all you who don't follow Jake Irvin, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Irvin, but if he's not pitching the Mets, he's very mediocre. He's a very mediocre guy. He's 27 years old. On the 2024 season, he is 10-12 with a 4.07 earned run average. But when he versus the New York Mets, like I said he evolves into freaking Cy Young. And Pete Alonso, oh my God. Pete, for some reason, loves that pitch 2 feet outside. You throw this guy a slider, no matter what pitcher you are, Pete will oblige and he will swing. And we're going to get into the problem because there is a problem here, folks. There is a very, very big problem. Yeah, we can survive against Nationals. At this point right now, we don't have to be great. We just have to be better than our opponent. And today we were facing the Nationals. They're 68-82. They're a transition team. We should sweep. This should be a sweep. The Nationals are playing for nothing. Nothing. There is nothing on the line for the Nationals. So the Mets right now, we have to really key in on a couple things. Alonso is one of them. I feel Alonso batting fourth is such a damn liability right now. It is not even funny. It's not even funny. I mean, I try to look at this fairly, but he is a rally killer. He doesn't put the bat on the ball. He doesn't take good at bats half the time. He doesn't play smart baseball. I mean, in the third inning, defensively, oh my God. A bunt is hit up the first base line. The correct play should have been Mania fields the ball, throws it to Pete. But Pete charges the ball and throws it over the second baseman's head. So he tries to go for the force at second. I couldn't believe it. He made 2 errors on the same play. So you're not going to hit, and you're going to play stupid in the field. And honestly, I don't like to be harsh on our homegrown players, but it's a point in the season where you have to make those plays. Fortunately, we're playing the damn Nationals. So in the third inning, the Nationals could not capitalize on first and second. They couldn't capitalize on it. Next play, a bunt. A bunt is hit to Vientos. And Pete, all of a sudden, the first baseman almost gets in Vientos' way. Unbelievable. Honestly, when I play ball, if there's a guy who literally cuts me off right in front of me. There was no reason for him to be anywhere near Vientos. Then on the broadcast, I think it was Keith, or I forgot if it was Keith or the other broadcaster, said that Vientos should have let the ball drop to set up the double play, which would have been accurate. But how the hell was he going to let the ball drop when he hears Pete barreling in? There's no room. There's no room. Okay, so those were like literally 2 or 3 dumb plays by Alonso, back after back after back. So it's in the 3rd inning. Pete Alonso, I think, already struck out. He struck out once, definitely. He was already getting ready to strike out again. He made multiple boneheaded plays in the field. So, like at this point, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for us to do something bad. Then we get to the 4th inning. Manaya, he gives up a run. We're down 1-0. Okay, fast forward a couple innings. You get to the 8th inning. And thank God, and it's kind of luck. So Tyrone Taylor gets a double. Then we have a couple other really bad at bats after that double. And, I'm just saying this lineup has to get a lot better. Ramon, what's up? What's up, buddy? Daniel, how's it going? Hopefully everybody's having a great night. I mean, I know I'm complaining and I really should be, celebrating because it's a win. But, our goal, I want to advance in the playoffs. And we did win. It was big. Marte, we're going to get to Marte in the last inning. But up until the 8th inning, it's a good come from behind win. But we have to play a lot better. We have to improve. And I'm going over the negatives right now. I'm going to get to the positives. So I apologize for being negative early on. But all right, so we're in the 8th inning right now. We are in the 8th inning. And I'm looking at my note. I have so many damn negative notes. And then, another guy who we all notice this game, Martinez is not right. We have so many hitters right now who are not right. Nimmo's not right. Alvarez is not right. I mean, like I said, Irvin looks like Cy Young when he pitches against this lineup. And Irvin against any other team is a mediocre regular pitcher. So we have to get a lot more discipline. Martinez has to get right. I mean, some of his at-bats taking these half swings and looking silly, not even looking like a respectable major leaguer. So, things we have to really, really get better on. But at the end of the day, and this is why I have hope, this is why, even though LINDOR is out, we've been an excellent come-from-behind team. And the whole year, and you hear me say this all the time, we have dealt with adversity over and over and over and over and over. And even this game, we came from behind. We had horrible at-bats the entire game. Irvin made us look like a little league team. But still, we found a way to win. Iglesias with a big hit in the 8th inning. Then in the 10th inning, we had some great pitching by Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett throwing 100 miles per hour on the gun. I don't know if that was accurate. Keith said, no, it's not accurate. But still, I mean, really gassing it up. A couple big outs in the 10th inning, by Reed Garrett. And that got us to the bottom of the 10th. In the bottom of the 10th, Marte had a really great at-bat. In fact, before that, let me give Alvarez a little credit. Alvarez advanced the runner, baited to third base so that Marte could pull the ball down the line, game-winning hit, and we would go on to win 2-1. Yeah, Jason, let's go Mets. Let's keep this going. we definitely need these 2 wins. These are 2 very big wins, and then we got to go to Philadelphia and take care of business. No doubt about it. No playing games in Philadelphia. The Mets have to play on the next level. Now, here's the thing. LINDOR. We all saw LINDOR with like the back brace or whatever brace he was wearing. He's right now doing a lot of work on the back. He's doing a lot of work on the back, doing a lot of therapy, trying to get right by the end of this series. The goal is to have LINDOR by the Philadelphia series. Now, at this point, it is not a serious injury. LINDOR, I repeat, had an MRI. There's no structural damage right now. So he's having normal things, that you have throughout the course of a season, but he's trying not to make it get worse. So if his therapy goes right for the next 2 to 3 days, I'm guaranteeing you LINDOR will be back for Philly. He's going to be back for when we play the Phillies, and I believe we're playing them 4 games. The way I'm doing the schedule, and I mapped out the schedule last 2 weeks ago, I mapped out the schedule with the intention of getting to 91 games. According to my pace, we're 2 games behind, right? But still, if we get to 90 or 89, it looks like that may be enough. It may be enough because Atlanta hasn't been playing great either. They just went 2-2 with the Dodgers, and we're still a game up. So we're not in a bad situation. Despite how we're playing, we're not in a bad situation. So we have to be positive, use the momentum. We've been a momentum team this entire year. I say this over and over and over. What is one of the best things, the good and the bad? We're a momentum team. So we took the momentum in Toronto last week. We blew out the Phillies on Friday night. Then we had a couple nail biters on Saturday and Sunday. And unfortunately, we could have won both games over the weekend. We could have won the Saturday game. We were up 4-0. We should have won the Saturday game. And then we should have won the game yesterday. JT Realmuto had a clutch hit. But you have to put those games behind us. And the good thing is we shut the door already. We already shut the door, changed the channel, beat the Nationals. You got to beat the bad teams. You got to beat the crappy bad teams, and we're going to have to beat them all 3 games. No 2 ways about it. We're going to have to win all these games right now. So at the end of the day right now, if the Mets continue to just get by, we'll be in very good shape. Now, tomorrow we have Tyler McGill on the hill. So, it's a little shaky with Tyler. Last outing, 9 strikeouts, phenomenal game. We're going to need another Magical McGill performance. So if Magical McGill comes out tomorrow, throws out another good pitching performance, that's great. That's great. But we've been having great pitching performances. We need the bats to step up. We need these damn bats to step up. I would put Marte in the lineup, put him in the lineup tomorrow. I didn't really like the lineup today. This new guy, Alvarez, he's more of a defensive guy. I don't think he provides much in the lineup. I'd like to see Acuna. Acuna, I think, deserves it. He made some really nice key plays in the game today. Made nice clutch key plays, stayed calm and under control, had some nice hits over the weekend. He's showing me a bit of promise. I like what I've seen thus far. You like kids who don't let the pressure and the moments get to him. It's looking like this guy, maybe tools-wise, he still needs to be developed, but it looks like the moment is not too big for him. So that is one thing I really do like. Hey, Yuki, yep, put in the books. Oh, did the D-backs? Oh, shoot, the D-backs were actually, last time I checked it, the D-backs were winning. So they actually did lose. Wow. Okay. All right. Honestly, the more the D-backs and the Padres lose, you never know. We might need another avenue. I like to be the team that puts the pressure on everybody else. So, that's what we were today. We were the team who won. Atlanta lost. The D-backs lost. I want to continue. I'd like to have a winning streak like we did 2 weeks ago, because in that 10-game stretch, We made up a whole bunch of games on all. I believe we made up like 6 games on the D-backs, 4 games on the Braves. It was something like that. So if we can round off and finish this 12-game stretch like that, that would be phenomenal. I know we're playing the Brewers. I know we're playing the Phillies. I know we're playing the Braves. But who the hell cares? These are all playoff teams that we're going to have to beat the crap out of anyway if we want a World Series. And I'm pretty sure everyone in here wants a World Series. And you know the funny thing, I don't know what the damn infatuation is, and you know I might be off base here. And this is just my opinion. This is only my opinion. But after we get a damn hit to win the game, right? So we're all out, we're all celebrating. What is the damn infatuation with literally tackling the guy who gets the game-winning hit and ripping his shirt off? I don't get it. It would be so Mets-like for us to rip off, let's say, Vientos' shirt and Vientos gets hurt or falls down. Pete Alonso jumping all over him. I don't get it. Did we win the World Series? No. If we win the World Series, go for it. Do whatever. I don't get these celebrations. I'm worried when these guys are jumping on each other. I'm thinking about Diaz when he got hurt in the in the World Baseball Classic. That would be such a Mets-like thing. I know, like, the guys are celebrating. It's a good moment, but I don't want to see any foolish thing happening, especially with Lindor. Stay the hell away from Lindor. If Lindor gets a game-winning hit, I don't want anybody jumping on this guy. So, that's just in the future. In the Phillies series, if he does anything to win the game, leave Lindor the hell alone. Pete, get away from Lindor. I could just see that. All right, Jason, have a great night. Yeah, we're not going to go that long tonight. This is one of those wins where we needed. This was one of those wins where we needed. We looked like crap early on. The bats weren't performing. Our at-bats were terrible. Our at-bats were really terrible. We were swinging at pitchers. We were swinging at balls. And the thing is, if Jake Irvin is somehow the Mets kryptonite, then you got to work this guy. You got to have a strategy where you get him out of the game. Everybody has a pitch count. So unlike 30, 40 years ago when a pitcher could throw 120, 130 pitches, now if a guy is dominant, you could work the guy out of the game. So that's why I never really understand, if there's a dominant pitcher, why are we swinging on the first pitch? Why are we giving these guys early out? So that's a thing that I would like to improve. Always improve our strategy. It should never be acceptable where we squeak one run away from a mediocre pitcher. And I know everybody kind of killed me on the July 4th start. On the July 4th start, Jake Irvin dominated against us. And I said it was completely unacceptable. We were coming in on a winning streak. And at that time, Jake Irvin had a better ERA and he was having a better year. But, at the end of the day, he's not a lights-out pitcher. He's not. He's a career over 4 earning out pitcher. His stuff is middle of the road. If you pull up his baseball savant, his fastball velo is 93.7 on average, which is in the 44th percentile. His expected ERA is in the 40th. His expected batting average is in the 33rd percentile. Every single one of his important metrics is poor. His chase rate is poor. His whiff rate is poor. His K rate is poor. His barrel percentage is poor. His hard hit percentage is poor. But when he plays the Mets, this guy, is phenomenal. And, Jake Irvin is just an example. I mean, we're going to see pitchers better than Jake Irvin in the playoffs. Pitchers who are battle tested, pitchers who have better stuff, pitchers who, obviously have better velocity. So we're going to have a better strategy. The lineup has to have a better strategy, and I believe that's obvious. Richard, how's it going tonight? You enjoyed that win, right? Alonso, oh my God. I know Alonso had a hit today, but maybe I gotta stop killing Alonso. But you know what? There really wasn't much there tonight. Tonight we had 6 hits. I mean, Iglesias is doing, a very respectable job filling in. Um, Martinez doesn't look right. Winker is not, looking right now either. Nimmo's not looking right. Vientos is slumping big time. And honestly, our whole lineup this year has been going Lindor and Vientos. Lindor and Vientos. Lindor's out. Vientos is slumping. So it kind of makes sense. But if you look at Vientos' last at bat, I gotta say, Vientos' last at bat looked really hopeful. He was, I forgot the guy's name he was hitting against. He was that lefty guy in the 9th inning on the Nationals. What was that guy's name? Furrer. But I mean, this guy was throwing 100 miles per hour, and Vientos, the more pitches he was seeing, you could see his swings were getting better and better and better. And he actually hit a decent ball to right center, right field. He made, was having better swings. So I have confidence that Vientos is going to come out of this. But we need Vientos. Vientos is a guy who gets the lineup going, and obviously Lindor gets the lineup going. It doesn't look like Pete is going to get this going. It really doesn't. We've waited this entire season, and honestly, in my opinion, it kind of feels like Pete has, I don't want to say regressed. Guys, when they're around 30, this could be the downside of his career. I don't want to say it, but I mean, I actually did. But I mean, it could be the downside of his career. We've seen a lot of guys turn 30, and some guys don't play well till they're 33, 34, 35. He might be one of those guys that he's trying his best. Obviously, this year it's a career year. It's a career year for Pete, and he's barely hitting 240. He's barely hitting 240. His slugging percentage is like 50th in all of Major League Baseball. So, it's not good. It's not good. So bottom line is we're going to have to rely on other guys like Vientos. Yuki, I think Pete Alonso is hurt. Honestly, I pray that he is. For his sake, I pray that he is, because he is playing so bad right now. Like, his swings aren't competitive. His swings aren't competitive. His discipline is of little league level. I mean, like, there's only so many times you can swing at a pitch 2 feet outside. There's only so many times, and he's a rally killer. He's a strikeout king. It's really tough to take at this point. It's tough to take. It's tough to take, especially when these at-bats are so important. And the thing is, Met fans are smart. You don't have to hit a home run all the time. Have a productive at-bat. Advance the runner. Hit the ball to the right side. Sacrifice flies. Do something productive. The worst thing you could do a lot of times is striking out or double plays. And guess what? He leads the team in double plays. I think he's him, or I think he leads the team in strikeouts. He leads the whole major leagues in leaving runners on base. His runners in scoring position hitting is abysmal. So I harp on Alonso because he's our cleanup guy. I don't understand why Mendoza, just even to get him hot, doesn't bump him down to 6 or 7. It's not like, hey, you're waiting till he gets going. We've waited the entire year. We're 12 games from the end of the season. He hasn't gotten it going. He hasn't gotten it going yet. Hey, Robbie, Mets can't score runs. You can't keep other teams from scoring less than 2 runs. Alonso turned down a $158 million steal. Stupid, too. I would have taken the deal. Well, yeah, I think it was 7 years, $158 million. Well, the thing is, so he did that last year, right? To be fair. So last year, when he was coming off of 46 home runs, he turned down the deal, right? So at that time, he was expecting to get a deal of around, and this is with this, I read many times at a respectable publication, he was looking to get a deal of around $250 million. The highest number I saw was $268 million, But, that is ridiculous. And obviously, that's $100 million more than 158, even more than that. So that's why he probably kind of poo-pooed at the deal, like, no way. I could get close to $300 million. I mean, if he would have had like an Aaron Judge-like year, maybe. But there's like almost 100 guys in Major League Baseball that are, hitting better than him. So, I don't want to kill the guy, especially after a win, but, we have to get better. Bottom line, if we want to win, we have to get better. Over the weekend, we lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. We should have beat the Phillies 2 out of 3. So bottom line, we have to get better. And also another comment, he isn't making adjustments. And I don't know who really to put more of the blame on. Are the coaches, I got to imagine the coaches are making adjustments. I mean, they're using analytics so heavily this day and age. Are they saying, hey, Pete, this is what you got to do. You got to be patient. They're throwing the outside slider to you. You got to take that pitch. There's other ways to approach, the at-bats. Is he ignoring them? He's a veteran. If he was a rookie, I could be like, okay, he's got to see starting pitching. He's got to get used to it. But at this point right now, as an aging veteran, there's really no excuses. There's really, really no excuses right now. Okay, so tomorrow, so we already mentioned Tyler McGill is on the mound. So McGill, this is going to be his 13th start of the season. So far, obviously, we know, not great. He's 3-5, a 4.48 earned average, 73 strikeouts through 62 innings. In his last appearance, Monday, against the Blue Jays, dominant, 6 scoreless innings, and he only had 1 hit that he surrendered. So great. Phenomenal. But in 13 games this year, 4.48 ERA, strikeouts have been decent, 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, but he has allowed his opponent's batting average to a 236 batting average. Not the greatest. So McGill this year, so in all those starts, in 13 games, McGill has had 2 quality starts. 2 quality starts in 13 games. So we're not looking, I would love it if he goes lights out like the last game. But what we look for in guys like McGill, who are more typically a 4th or 5 starters, you want quality starts. So if he would have like 6, 7, 8 at this point, that would be great. But having 2 quality starts, not 2 great starts, 2 quality starts in 13 games is unacceptable. Unacceptable. He's got to get a lot better. So the pitcher, the Nationals pitcher tomorrow is a guy by the name of Mitchell Parker. Mitchell Parker, a guy we definitely have to beat. Definitely have to beat Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Alvarez, Starling Marte in the lineup, Iglesias, Acuna. This guy is 7-9 with a 4.24 ERA, 127 strikeouts, and 142 innings. So he's going to get his 28th start of the year, and he hasn't looked that great. And the good thing for guys like Pete Alonso, a righty, of course, is this guy's a lefty. Pete Alonso, we all know, tends to do a lot better off of lefties. And it almost seems like sometimes that, Pete should exclusively be hitting against lefties. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but, against righties, his batting average has been abysmal. His success rate has been abysmal. So, I mean, I could see, and that's why I don't want to sign him up to any long-term contract, because the man is deteriorating within our eyes. And Parker, as opposed to McGill, Parker has had 12 quality starts this season. So, I mean, even though he's not that great, he's had 12. So that just goes to show you how McGill isn't even close to being cutting it. What's up, TP? Yeah, Acuna, a guy that I wanted to see weeks ago, a guy I love to see. I don't want to see Alvarez. Alvarez, the guy we got from the Boston Red Sox, he looks like a nice defensive guy, but he's a career minor leaguer, 34 years old. I want to see the future. And the thing about Alvarez, a thing about Acuna that I mentioned is thus far, the guy does not seem moved by the moment. He doesn't seem like he's stressed. He doesn't seem like the moment is too big for him. I mean, he seems like a guy like is maybe that's just how he's built. That's his brother obviously has been very successful, but I like how this guy really seems like calm, cool, collective. So I really like that. I like how he's got a couple big hits in the last couple games, couple big defensive plays tonight. I like Acuna thus far. I want to see more of him. If Lindor is not going to be in there, I'd rather see him than Alvarez. That's my opinion. But more to this, and I hate to make this show completely about Alonso, although I do have as one of our main points Alonso disaster. But it almost feels like Alonso is playing with one foot out the door. And what that means is it feels like he knows that Stearns doesn't want him, right? Like the way he played today, the way he's playing defensively. I mean, you don't make that play in the third inning when he charges the ball. You got to have communication, number one. And then the throw to overthrow the second baseman, you don't throw that ball. Number one, you don't field the ball. Number two, you don't overthrow. And then the next play, when there's a bunt pop up to Vientos, and he literally cuts right in front of Vientos, those are like little league sloppy plays. And it just shows lack of care, lack of communication. And why would a guy, be so, detached from how they should be playing professionally? So, and the way he looks at the plate, I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, and I know it doesn't help him if his numbers are putrid, but maybe Boris has a conversation with him saying, hey, Pete, we're going to look for a one-year deal. 1 year deal, you can get around $30 million. And we're going to move on. You could sign with the Cubs. You could sign with the Giants. There's teams out there that are willing to pay you $30 million. You dominate that next year, and then we'll get you a big long-term contract. It just doesn't seem like the guy's heart is in each and every at-bat. It doesn't seem like the guy's heart is there. I mean, I like guys who play with their heart on their sleeves. You could see when guys care, like Iglesias. Iglesias cares. I mean, I'm not seeing it. Lindor, the way he's played the second half of the year, Pete it's really not doing. And honestly, I'm a big Pete Alonso fan. I'm extremely disappointed. I'm disappointed in him. Yeah, well, great point. And honestly, The only time he kind of lit up the whole year is when before the All-Star game, basically, yeah, get me in the All-Star game, I'll play in the home run derby. And then when he went to the home run derby, he was supposedly the favorite and he played horrible. He was an embarrassment in the home run derby. So the one time that I'm like, oh, okay, maybe a New York Met can win the home run derby again. I mean, I was embarrassed. I turned the TV off after one round. I mean, honestly, I'm not really interested in the home run derby these days anyway. But still, I watched to see Pete perform, and it was a putrid performance. And honestly, here's the main takeaway from the home run derby: that contest, this day and age, is a conditioning event. It's a conditioning contest. The better conditioned you are, the further you can go. When Pete was a rookie, the guy was a monster. He was a beast. He was a machine. Lately, in the last two home run derbies, it looks like Pete is fizzling out. He's not. It doesn't look like he's in the best physical condition, if I can get that out. So, and that is scary. A guy who's looking for $300 million, who is not in peak physical condition at age 30, that is alarming. And that tells me about work ethic. That tells me about what he's going to be in the future. That tells me about what type of leader he is, what type of, how he leads by example. So I'm very disappointed in the guy, and the way he's played down the stretch has only really kind of fortified that disappointment. And a guy like Conforto, that's the old guard. The old guard, Conforto, Alonso, to a certain extent, McNeil. But I give McNeil credit. Like before he got hurt, he was turning the page. But the old guard, they had their chance. They had their chance. We didn't win. We actually had collapses. We had big failures. So I'm happy with moving forward. I'm happy with moving forward with role players like Iglesias. I'm happy with going to the young guys, Acuna. I'm happy with seeing what Drew Gilbert has next year. I'm happy with signing, a huge guy to tie this all together. And I'm still, and I don't mean to say this right now in the playoffs, but I'm targeting a guy, and I hope David Stearns is targeting this guy as well. You want to take it to that next level? You sign a guy like Juan Soto. I mean, it's hands down, and that's going to that $200 million that would have been allocated toward Pete Alonso is going to a 26-year-old superstar, a guy who every single at bat, Juan Soto, his approach is he's one of the best guys at working at an at bat in all of baseball. He doesn't waste one at bat. Pete Alonso will waste 3 out of 4 at bats. Maybe there will be one at bat where he takes pitches or he has the right approach. Only one. But a guy like Juan Soto is the quite opposite. He might have one at bat, but the majority of these at bats, he will make the pitcher work. Working the oppositional pitcher is good for the lineup. It is good if you get to the other team's pen. In majority of the situation, if you knock out the starting pitcher, you will be in good shape. You will be in good shape. So, that should be our approach. And that was our approach, I believe, a couple of years ago. When I think it was like 2019, 2020, we had actually a pretty decent offense and we had a good philosophy, but we haven't had a good philosophy. And, it's been very streaky. I'll say that. Our hitting philosophy has streaky. We've had moments where I'm like, oh, wow, every single player is working the count where the opposing pitcher, it has 60 pitchers in the third inning or, more than that, so, we've had our moments, but it's just not enough. We need to continue. We're playing the Phillies. We're playing the Braves. We're playing the Brewers or, I might have messed up the order, but those are the teams we're going to be playing after the Nationals. So bottom line, we have to step up our level of play. And I can't attack the starting pitching. They've been phenomenal. Manaya, Severino, every one of these, Peterson, last performance, every one of these pitchers has kept us in the game. The only way we've been screwing up is our hitters. And then honestly, another thing I worry about, my three things that I worry about, and I'm going to continue to worry until I see this all fixed. Number one, we spoke about Alonso. Number two, Carlos Mendoza. And there's a third thing as well, too. So, but why not? We'll talk about concerns that need to be fixed. Number one, Alonso, get him out of the cleanup spot. Number two, Carlos Mendoza. Carlos Mendoza's in-game decision and managing of the bullpen, for a rookie manager, I'm hoping that he has as much help as possible. I don't want to get outmanaged down the stretch. I don't want to get outmanaged. I get worried sometimes, but that's an issue. One of these things about managing the back end of the bullpen is the amount of talent that you have back there. And I always say, when you don't have a Diaz available, and this is why I would have hoped that a couple of weeks ago, or even now, bring up as much talent to the big league roster as possible. So that means if you have a guy in AAA like a Brandon Sprout, who is the number 3 pitching prospect in all of baseball, because the guy has has lightning stuff. The guy is a phenom. Utilize him out of the bullpen. Why not? I don't believe in these guys getting thrown off of their growth or trajectory. I hate that excuse. I hate that excuse that you don't want to ruin that. I mean, these guys are world-class athletes. Bring up a Brandon Sprout, bring up a Jonah Tong, expose them to this type of play. Fighting, if they could succeed now, and even if they fail, fine. They're not paper mache. They're not going to go nothing's going to happen bad. Expose them. Acuna, this is good for him. It's good to expose our prospect. And, some people would say, hey, you don't want to ruin their trade value. Well, it's the last couple games. It's not like they're going to fail for 2 months. It's 2 or 3 outings. It's fine. That's what I would do, because when Diaz is not available, and most likely Budo wasn't available on Saturday night, I would like an extra weapon. Wouldn't you like an extra weapon? Jonah Tong, a phenom in Double-A. He's been a phenom this year. The guy's he's averaging 13 or 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. He has been electric, nasty. Why not use him in the 7th or 8th inning? That means that's 1 inning. You don't have to use Budo. That means you can use Budo, in another opportunity. So I'd like to add that extra weapon. Static clearly doesn't have the trust and the faith of a Mendoza. So, I would add that extra weapon. That's just me. And, a lot of people like a David Stearns want to stay away from that avenue. And the thing is, the only reason why a Luis Angel Acuna came up was because of Lindor's injury. If Lindor didn't get injured, Acuna wouldn't be here. And I don't even like that. I'd rather have Acuna and Lindor here and not Alvarez. So, I mean, that's just my take on that. Richard, so let Senga pitch a few bullpen innings. Yeah, to build Senga up, expose him to Major League Baseball pitching. He's only pitched 1 game this entire year, is when he dominated against the Braves. So it was a very good outing. But I would utilize him in any way possible, because the challenge now, there's one challenge. We obviously know the challenge right now. The challenge is that you have to build up these starters, and it takes weeks to build up these starters. So if, let's say a Minaya goes 5 innings or a Severino goes 5 innings, I wouldn't mind, pitching Senga 2 or 3 innings to build them up for the next start the next week. I would actually like that. I would love that. Until the guy's built up, utilize him in the bullpen. Why not? That's actually a really good idea. I guess we'll never know. We'll never know. If he was coming anyway, why wasn't he here early in September? Or if the retort to that was, well, McNeil was here. Well, why wasn't he brought up immediately when McNeil got injured? So, I mean, it makes sense for him now to say, I would have brought up Acuna, seeing how Acuna has responded. Acuna's showing, hey, right now, I can play in the major leagues. Right now, he has shown that. I'm not saying he won't fail in the next couple of weeks or in the coming future, but right now, Luis Angel Cunha has shown that the moment is not too big for him. Not too big for him. Check. I mean, the good thing is the Mets, they in tomorrow's matchup, they are favored. So I was looking at, betting lines. So the Mets usually, more often than not, the good thing about the Mets this year, they have been winning in games that they're favored. If you're a betting person. I know this is a silly topic, but I was reading another article about like the Mets designating a grimace seat. This year is the phenomenon of grimace. I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I never really got into that. I mean, whatever works. Whatever works. If bringing the big purple guy in there is going to get us into the playoffs and get us going on a run, I don't give a damn. But I think it's a little silly. Let me see tomorrow. I'm just our pitcher tomorrow that we're facing is Mitchell Parker. I'm just looking at his past history against the Mets. I want to see which players on our roster actually hit good against him. I mean, he's not a lights out pitcher, so I would imagine that he's not too dominant. Okay, so the last time we played Mitchell Parker, he went 6 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 5 earned runs. So he pitched 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, earned runs. So we did very good against him. I mean, only I'm looking at who did well. So a couple players did well. Francisco Lindor actually had a home run, 2 RBIs, so he did well. JD Martinez had a hit. He had a double. Mark Vientos also did well. He had a home run and 2 RBIs. And I mean, that's been a theme the entire year. Mark Vientos and Lindor. And Tyrone Taylor, also a hit, a home run and 1 RBI. So those 3 guys look like, they did well. I'm looking at Pete Alonso, 0 for 3, 1 strikeout. I mean, that's the famous line on Pete all year. So, I can imagine tomorrow you're going to have Taylor in there. Obviously, Taylor's going to be in there. Iglesias is going to be in there, obviously. But we know Vientos. We know Vientos has hit Parker well. But you know what? All in all, we got to feel good. We definitely got to feel good. I know I saw on the message boards, I was looking today, people, and rightfully so, were talking before this game that, the season is over. Lindor got hurt. We're done. We're done. We're done. This is expected, that everybody expected something like this was going to happen. It's too good to be true. But here's the deal. The Lindor injury isn't serious. It's not a serious injury. We got to wait this injury out. And luckily, we're facing the Nationals. So I don't think that compared to 3 days ago when Lindor was healthy and we were 1 game up, we've lost no ground. In fact, we've got rid of a couple games, so we're closer to the end of the season. We're still 1 game up, and we're facing the Nationals. In a couple days, if we can somehow manage to win these next 2 games, Lindor gets about 3 or 4 days to heal. We'll face the Phillies up by 1 or 2 games on the Braves still, and we'll have Lindor back. So there is still reasons to be very excited and very hopeful. Very hopeful. There's only one disaster, and we averted disaster today, and I think that's going to serve as motivation going into tomorrow. And tomorrow, I just highlighted Mitchell Parker he's a crappy pitcher. There's no reason the Mets shouldn't tee off on this guy. There's no reason in the world. So, we got the momentum. We got the crappy starting pitcher tomorrow. So, I'm positive. I'm positive, at least at the moment. Earlier in today's game, I wasn't positive, but I'm positive right now. I hope McGill, I hope McGill doesn't throw a stinker. That's the only thing that would actually crush things. Yep, Braves shit the bed tonight. The Dodgers 9-0, and I think Yamamoto was pitching tonight. So great job by the Dodgers. And you know what the thing is? We all go back to the same philosophy, same theme. There is no powerhouse in the National League. The Dodgers have their issues. Glasnow, Tyler Glasnow, one of their top tier pitchers. They don't know when he's coming back. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani isn't pitching. Yamamoto just came back from an injury. So the Dodgers have a lot of question marks in their rotation right now. They are beatable. The Phillies, we just played them. They are beatable. And the Brewers, that would be the lesser of the other two. And, frankly, I'm not afraid of them either. So this really, the sky's the limit. Still, we just need to get LINDOR back in a couple of days, which I fully expect us to do. The Brewers are the big worry. Well, we know the Brewers played us tough this year. They played us tough, and and I've said this the last couple of weeks that the Brewers and us obviously are built similar. We have the same architect. So a lot of the things they do are the things we're doing. So the analytics, they probably use similar analytics, similar way they approach the game. But at the end of the day, it's going to be like who has more talent. Who has more talent? Honestly, let me actually. Like when you look at, runs scored, runs against, you could use that as like a barometer. So if you look at how many runs a team scored on the year, the Milwaukee Brewers scored 732 runs. We scored 710. But that's kind of skewed because remember the first 2 months, our offense completely sucked. We were crappy. We didn't have Martinez. Albers was injured. Alonso wasn't great. LINDOR was bad. So, if we had a full offense this entire year, I think our offense is better than the Milwaukee Brewers if we have LINDOR. And if hopefully Alonso does something in the playoffs, maybe he's waiting to heroically perform in the playoffs. Wouldn't that be something? And pitching-wise, actually, the Milwaukee Brewers have a decent pitching staff. Got to give them credit there. But let me pull up their roster. So the Brewers pitching staff right now is Freddie Peralta, Colin Rea, Tobias Myers, Aaron Savali, and Frankie Montas. That is their rotation right now. Wow. And, Willie Adames, he's having a great year on the Brewers. He's got 32 home runs, 109 RBIs, shortstop. So he's having a phenomenal year. I mean, offensively, they got a couple of guys having nice years. William Contreras, their catcher, 22 home runs, 90 RBIs, batting 280. Jackson Churio, that's their young, phenom guy, right fielder. I think he's like 20 years old right now. 21 home runs, 77 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 273rd average. But Jackson Churio, that guy's going to have a phenomenal career. So it looks like he started off very well. And Rhys Hoskins, another one, a solid pickup. Rhys Hoskins is a guy that I would have liked. I mean, doesn't have a high batting average, but he's a guy that, brings a lot to the clubhouse. He's got a lot of fire, a lot of energy. He beat us for everybody who remembers this or maybe forgot it. I probably would have wanted to forget it too, but he beat us in the first series of the year. He's a guy that, he's been on a winning team. He's been with the Phillies, and, he knows how to win. So you want players like that. And that's why I think, and, Iglesias is a guy who brings that to our team. And Waker he's not like really a winner, but, he's a guy that has that great attitude. On the pitching side, I mean, their starters are just decent. I mean, they don't have a Corbin Burns anymore. Freddie Peralta, he's 11-8 with a 3.75. Colin Rears, 12-5 with a 4.14. Tobias Myers, he's 8-5 with a 3.07. But they don't have a killer payroll. I mean, honestly, if you compare us to the Brewers, we have more talent. We have more talent. So in that series, although they have a better record than us, we should win that series. And then also too, if the playoffs are here, Lindor is healthy, Senga, we finally get Senga back. Hopefully we're probably not going to get McNeil back in the beginning, but if we get him back in later rounds. But I think that we have way more talent than the Brewers. And where is he? Christian Yelich. Yeah, Christian Yelich had a decent year. 11 home runs, 42 RBIs, 315 batting average, but he only has 270 at bats. So that's a guy that's always injured. Damas had 13 three-run homers. Did I see? You know what? I'm not sure, but that's phenomenal. I mean, that's really stacking up the RBIs right there. Wish Alonso could do that. The Mets record against the Brewers is 1-5 in the last 6. I mean, once you get to the playoffs, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And also, too, we played them in the beginning of the year. We were, we all know this. We were a crappy team in the beginning of the year. We were a different team. We were a whole different team from June on. We're a whole different team. So that record early on, as opposed to now, we know we stunk in the first couple months. But then again, it's tough to play those teams. Like teams like the Brewers, teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, they play different. They play different. They use their numbers different than in any other organization. Those teams have no money. So for them to be competitive, for them to win, they have to do things on a different level. So it is difficult to beat those teams. But the one advantage we do have is we have the architect of that organization. So that is our one leg up. Not to say that that's going to give us a big on-field advantage, but, it should give us some type of knowledge of what they're doing or what they're going to do. But the good thing, Robbie, that's a very good, astute comment. Let's see what happens. The playoffs start tomorrow. The good thing about the New York Mets is the playoffs have started weeks ago, because we were games behind. We were like 3 games behind the Braves, 6 games behind the Diamondbacks. We had to start our playoff mentality 3 weeks ago. When we went on that 9-game winning streak, the beginning of that is when our playoffs started. That is when every single game, every single inning, we had to approach it like it was game 7. And we have to continue that mentality. Every single key moment has to be taken as if it's game 7. Game 7. So, it doesn't stop. The approach doesn't stop. You know what I want to do? I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow. What time is tomorrow's game? All right, yeah. Tomorrow's game is 7:10. I want to try doing like one of those watch-alongs, with us. So let's see how that goes. I don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow because tomorrow I'm actually off from work. So let's try doing that. Let's see how that goes. We're facing the Nationals, not the best matchup, but we'll have some fun. Let's see how that goes. All right, but I'm gonna get going for tonight. If you didn't like the video before you leave. If you are new and you didn't subscribe. Okay. I appreciate everybody. I know we got our good members in here. Richard, Robbie, TP, Jose. I think you left. You went to bed. That's fine. But everybody, I want to say good night. Thank Will. Hopefully, we all have a good night. Yuki, Ramon, Daniel, everyone, have a great night. Jason, I appreciate each and every one of you. Enjoy your night. Sleep well. We got the win. We're still one game up. So all is well in New York Mets land for now, at least for now. All right. Well, have a great night. I will speak to you all very, very soon. And thank you for everyone for tuning in.